What's going on, everyone? This is Lucas Ross Sports, Lucas Ross, your commentator, and we continue and finish our 2022 college football predictions. The Vanderbilt Commodores are up next. Give you my thoughts on this team, give you my official prediction for this team, and preview the schedule, and I will go from there. But before we do that, let's look back at 2021 for this Vanderbilt team. Recapping 2021 for the Vanderbilt Commodores, not a good season for their first-year head coach last year. 2-10 overall record last year. There were some improvements from last year, but not quite a lot of improvement. Let's take a look at the offense and defensive rankings from last year's team. 128th on offense and 119th on defense. So similar numbers there from both sides of the ball last year. This Vanderbilt team just hasn't been good in the last few years. The offense and defensive points per games, 15.8 points on the offensive side of the ball and 35.8 points given up on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, this Vanderbilt team just has a lot to, look forward to this season. They have a lot of improvement to have this season. And also, my thoughts on this team is I think they are going to be not terrible this year, but just not a good quality team. Yes, the production they have coming back is good, but do they have the talent to compete with all these teams? They really don't. Let's face it, Vanderbilt's been, pretty much one of the worst teams in the SEC over the years. They haven't been able to get back into that caliber of a team in a long time. But let's look at the schedule now for Vanderbilt coming into this season. And then you look at who they play out of the non-conference. They'll play Hawaii on the road, NIU on the road as well, Elon at home, and of course they'll play Wake Forest out of the non-conference, out of the ACC. The non-conference schedule, not too tough. I mean, in the Hawaii game, they're only a 6-point favorite, and Wake Forest is just going to be a pretty tough matchup there. But let's go game by game now for Vanderbilt. They'll play Hawaii here on the road on August 27th. That game is right around the corner there. Interestingly, Vanderbilt's only a 6-point favorite, so it's a potential maybe an upset alert type game there. But I don't really see Vanderbilt losing to Hawaii on the road. And I think they do take care of business against Elon as well. I think they take care of business in both of those games to start out 2-0. Yes, I know they lost to East Tennessee State last year, but I think Vanderbilt should be a little bit improved on both sides of the ball a little bit this season. Just not really, I'm not saying they're going to be, a team to look out for. I'm saying they're just going to be a little bit improved on both sides. But they play Wake Forest here at home on September 10th. I mean, the good news is you get this game at home, but the bad news is, does Vanderbilt really have what it takes to compete in this game? I think they'll hang around in a quarter, maybe a few minutes or two or something like that. But this game right here, I don't see it really being all that close. And yes, Wake Forest does lose Sam Hartman, due to an injury, but I think Wake Forest is still talented enough to go on the road and defeat Vanderbilt. So I got Vanderbilt losing that one at home to Wake Forest, but I got them taking care of business on the road at NIU. I mean, they should take care of business in that game, and I got Vanderbilt starting out 3-1. Next game on the road at Alabama. You get Alabama out of the West this year, and the last time these two teams met, it was a shutout, but Alabama just really dominated Vanderbilt throughout the game. Vanderbilt talked a lot of smack to them. Alabama, though, they're too talented here, and also it's on the road. I really don't see Vanderbilt going on the road and defeating Alabama in this game, and I got Alabama winning that one pretty easily by maybe 3 touchdowns. So I'm going to say that Vanderbilt loses that one big. You get a bye week after that, so you get a good bye week in there. But before playing Ole Miss here at home on October 8th, it's going to kind of be an interesting matchup. I mean, both offenses are kind of even a little bit, but I think Ole Miss is just better overall. And I don't really see this game going either way. I think Vanderbilt, maybe gets in there in the first quarter, but Ole Miss is just too talented on both sides of the ball. The defense just has a lot of question marks, but offensively they're just going to be really good on that side of the ball. And I got Ole Miss winning that one, and I got Vanderbilt now dropping to 3-3. Next game on the road at Georgia, similar to the Alabama game here. It's just not going to be all that close. I know Georgia loses a lot of talent on the defensive side of the ball. Let's face it, it's Georgia. Kirby Smart has shown what he does down there at Georgia, and it's going to be really tough to go on the road and defeat Georgia at the same time. So I'm going to go with the Bulldogs here, and it's similar to the Alabama game. It's a blowout. I think Vanderbilt does not even come close to defeating them. Next game on the road at Missouri. So you have to play back-to-back road games here with Georgia, and then it's Missouri. Missouri going to be a kind of a similar team to Vanderbilt this year. They're not going to be terrible, but, they're just going to be some sort of a meh team. A meh team or something like that. Missouri, though, I think this will be a good one, probably, perhaps. Both teams are pretty similar this year in returning production. Missouri, though, I think is a little bit better, and also they're playing at home as well, and I think Vanderbilt will lose this one. I think by just about maybe a touchdown or something like that. Missouri, I think with the home field advantage is going to give them the advantage in this game. I got Vanderbilt losing that one. So I got them losing 4 in a row here before playing South Carolina here at home on November the 5th. So you're sitting there at 3-5 now. South Carolina going to be a better team this season. Their coach, Shane Beamer, has shown what he can do down there at South Carolina. I think they'll be a better team than they were last year as well. They finished strong last year as well. And this game, I don't really see this one. Maybe it's a first half type game or something like that. But I think Vanderbilt is just still not too talented enough to beat South Carolina in this game. And I think South Carolina is just going to be a better team. And of course, South Carolina just is coming off a good season last year. They should be really good. But I think Vanderbilt does lose that one. They'll compete in the first half, but second half, South Carolina pulls away. Next game on the road at Kentucky. Kentucky's going to be a good team this season as well. Will Levis, everybody's hyping him up this season. Thing is, though, I don't really see Will Levis, being a Heisman candidate or something like that, but he still is a great quarterback. This game is on the road as well. I could see this game, not going back and forth either. I think Kentucky will be really hyped up for this one. I got Vanderbilt losing on the road to Kentucky here on November 12th. Florida coming up next here at home. This could be some sort of an interesting game. I think first quarter, I think it's going to be all about if Vanderbilt can score some points, but the second half, I think it's just all Florida. It's kind of similar to that South Carolina game. Florida does have good depth chart on their roster. It just comes down to that quarterback position, and also it comes down to that quarterback position for Vanderbilt as well. And if I think both of these teams can get good quarterback play, they'll be good teams. But at the end of the day, though, Florida's just too talented. And I think Vanderbilt will lose that one, so I got them now dropping to 3-8. They'll play Tennessee here to close things out on November 26th. Tennessee going to be a team this year that is just going to go fast tempo. And, this game is a rival game, but, I just don't really see this one being all that close. I know it's a home game for Vanderbilt, but it's just not going to be even that close at all. I think Tennessee wins this one by a big margin. Kind of similar to that, maybe that Ole Miss game or something like that. They're just going to score some points on this Vanderbilt team. And I got Vanderbilt finishing 3-9 in 2022. I don't think there's any potential wins on the schedule for this team. They just got a long way to go. I'm not saying they're going to be terrible, though. I just think they're going to be a little bit improved, but this team could still go 2-10 if they lose to Hawaii on the road. But 3-9 is my official prediction for 2022 for Vanderbilt, and that concludes our college football predictions of 2022. Stay tuned for more videos next week here on Lucas Ross Sports.